I tried to sell things online 2 separate times, several years apart. Both were complete failures. Joke's on me because now I'm doing it again and it's finally working. Attempt number 1 was way back in 2016-ish. I opened a store on Etsy selling random baubles and accessories because I had access to at cost materials for print production. So whenever somebody ordered something, my thought was I can just produce it while I'm at work because I was an in-house designer for a print and embroidery company. So I could basically do what I wanted with those materials and order them at cost. Classic side hustle moment there. I sold koozies and merch. I was thinking jackets, t-shirts, printed stuff, embroidered stuff, hats, whatever. I could do it all. And all I needed was to have an audience. So I just thought borrowing one from Etsy would be a good idea. So I did a deep dive. I researched the hell out of Etsy and I tried to figure out their system, and it didn't go so well. I actually only ever had a single sale. It happened to be on my actual birthday from a complete stranger. I don't know how that happened. The universe is funny like that. And it was for a koozie with David Bowie's RIP image on it. So I thought I would share because, I'm putting my embarrassment on the internet forever to live is the thing that's me. So this is a screenshot of that order. You can see the name of the product was David Bowie RIP. I had no idea what I was doing. I sold this one thing for $4.16. This is what it actually looks like. It was that color koozie with that color print on it. That was the year he died. And I designed it myself. I printed it myself. I shipped it myself. It was all me. I just used the materials at my office. That's it. That's pretty much the whole Etsy chapter. I had other things on my shop, but I did get an email from Etsy at some point saying like you don't have permission to do this. We're going to take your listing down. And I was like, okay, not a big deal. And that was the last one I ever sold. So no audience, even though I had access to all of Etsy's audience, I wasn't an expert. I didn't know how to hack the system on Etsy. With no niche, no audience, no reason for strangers to find me, the shop was not working. For attempt number 2, this was during the COVID blip where I had just gotten furloughed and I was trying to figure out what to do with all of this time. Leading up to 2020, I'd been not taking client projects because I was so exhausted from working my day job and then also doing client work at night during the previous year. So in 2020, I was like, this year I'm going to focus on just designing. I'm going to be creative and maybe I can create a thing that I can resell. That was a good idea, genuinely. The execution, however, this is the thing, like, I did it wrong. Don't do what I did. Instead of making things easy for myself, I did not learn from anybody who had done this before. I just designed several different websites on Squarespace. I bought Teachable. I recorded tutorials for how to use said templates and put them in Teachable and was going to sell everything through Teachable. I could have done it a lot simpler. I know this now from the bad experience that I had. Again, I only ever sold one of those templates. I did give away 2 to 3 of them during the launch promo period because I thought if that sounds enticing, right? If you like follow the launch and I don't know, if I'm opting to give away something that you actually want, then from the waitlist people will buy. Yeah, that didn't work the way that I thought it would. So I sold exactly one. It was my favorite of the templates, so at least there was that. But then I continued to pay for Teachable for about a year, so I lost my ass on that whole thing. I had created 3 templates. I set up on Teachable, I paid for Teachable, I devoted time and effort to creating tutorials specific to each template, setting that up in Teachable, recording those videos, editing the videos, sitting down to record. I was not good on camera, so there were a lot of takes and a lot of mess ups. It was not a smooth process. So I paid for Teachable for way too long, maybe even over a year before I decided to can that and get rid of it. Why I think it flopped. Teachable is a design to host courses. They can now, of course, also be hosted on Squarespace, and that would have been a lot easier in 2026 than it would have been in 2020 when that was not possible. But the templates that I was selling were disconnected from Squarespace. So even if it had succeeded, Squarespace templates are a manual process to send. There's no way to automate that process like Squarespace handles the transfer of the template to the customer for you. You have to set that up yourself through Zapier and stuff. There's a lot of things involved, right? So I was not prepared. I didn't have a system in place. I was choosing the wrong platform to host everything in that was not connected to Squarespace. It was all manual labor, which is fine because I had lots of time on my hands at that point. I also gave away templates at the beginning. So I was telling people basically these are worth nothing because I'll give you a couple for free. I didn't handle the launch appropriately. There was a lead up and a waitlist to join, and the people that were on the waitlist were what I chose from to give the giveaways to. But like after that, I didn't have continual marketing that I recall that like continued to tell people. I didn't do a very good job at the actual launch promotion. I didn't have a warm audience either. This is a huge part of why I think it failed. Basically, I thought a thing, I assumed it would work, I assumed what people wanted, and then I put it out there and thought people will buy because why wouldn't they? This makes sense. But like nobody was asking me to create a template shop at that point. I just had lots of time on my hands. I did not have an audience that was driving traffic specifically to the shop. So I didn't have like any organic evergreen campaign. I wasn't buying ads. Like I said, it didn't have a warm audience that was ready and asking me for templates. So basically, I built the shop, I waited for somebody to notice, and nobody ever did. So that was attempt number two. What both of those things had in common was that I built something without the audience first. And that's a really important distinction because the audience are the people that buy. If you don't have the people there that want to buy from you, then whatever you produce, even if it's a good product, nobody knows it exists. You don't have anybody waiting for it. No one's asked you to create this. The platform that I put it on wasn't the right fit. It was cumbersome to put all the sales pages over on Teachable and the tutorials over on Teachable. It was also expensive. It was actually more expensive than Squarespace because at the time I was paying 16 to 20-ish dollars a month for my actual website, but Teachable itself, just to host the tutorials and the sales pages and the checkout and everything, that was like $39 a month. And then on top of that, I'm email marketing. It was just a lot for a new business owner at the time to manage. And I really had no strategy for how anybody would find it. I wasn't good at SEO yet. I mean, I still wouldn't say that I'm great at SEO now, but I'm a hell of a lot better now than I was 6 years ago. So essentially, what I actually did both times, and I didn't realize it that I was repeating this behavior the second time, I essentially opened a shop in the middle of a field that no one knew the building existed. And I wondered why nobody was walking in. There was no one around, no one to know that I put that building there, that I had this online presence for this specific thing. And that's ultimately why it failed. It's not that my designs were bad. In fact, I'm going to show you that in a minute. They were just built for no one. I had no audience in mind for this. I hadn't really truly prepped. And so, of course, they didn't sell. No one knew that I had them. So now I want to show you actually what my old website used to look like. So this is my lovely previous brand, Studio 1862. This is my original homepage. You can see I still keep up the back end of the website as a template. I just keep renewing it because I like being able to see where I came from. But this is as much of it as left. Like I can't find my contact page for some reason and like my actual template shop page where I sold the templates. So I don't know what happened to those, but I do have a few remnants. So I'll just give you a little quick tour just for nostalgia's sake. So this is this is my homepage and my pictures and my website packages and my bio and my blog posts. And then I have my about page. And then this is a version of my shop. These are my actual products. I had a mini website audit for sale for websites and for branding. I had this t-shirt mock-up because I created it for my day job. And I was like, well, I could just sell the Photoshop template. So I did that. It sold actually pretty well just through Squarespace without me doing anything significant. I just had it there and people found it by accident. And then I also had this freebie. Then I also had all these cheeky coffee mugs from Society 6. I actually have this Get Shit Done mug, this Fuck This Shit mug, and this Oh for Fuck's Sake mug. I thought they were funny. Why? Why? Why did I put this on my brand? I have no idea. This does not match the vibe of Studio 1862 at all. But this is when I started realizing that there was a disconnect between my brand and how it was represented and the kind of thing that I wanted to put there. So, anyway, you can see the Squarespace sales page for whatever is left of it. It went through so many different iterations. So, this is just one of many. And then I also still have the blog. This is the old 7.0 website, but these are all the thumbnails. So, yeah, long, long, long time. So, if we go back on the back end, you can kind of see if I expand this drop down here. This is the 7.0 tutorial thing that I was like moving off of Teachable at some point, and I was giving this to customers. So, the welcome, and then this was hosted on YouTube, but I recently just realized that it was still live, so I took it down. And then a couple of these are still like unlisted videos, and I had them segmented like that so they could watch like the getting started. And I'll just, hi. This is me down here in the corner and my screen share. So you can kind of get a sense of what I was doing. And then I had a bunch of helpful resources that were actually blog posts. And I just put them in a summary block below. Or like, hey, if you want to learn more, go check out these things. Like I didn't want to, this was low lift for me. And a great example of the whole done is better than perfect. So anyway, that's just like a walk down memory lane. So the gap between those two things, the two different failures, what I'm doing now that's actually working and what I learned in between is really just a lot of strategy that I did not have both times when I launched. I thought I learned from the first one when I launched the second one I would do better, and I did do better, but it did not produce results that I wanted because I still did not have enough of the strategy in place. So, in the interim between 2020 and 2026, I've been building my audience more strategically. After I rebranded from my previous brand design, the new vibe that Launch the Damn Thing had that Studio 1862 never could find was more authentic. It was easier for me to market. I had more fun doing the marketing work. I had more fun doing the blog posts. Eventually, I started doing video and building an audience here on YouTube. I basically got more intentional about having people that I could sell to if I chose, people that would love my work so much that they want to buy without me needing to sell all the time. And I never wanted to feel salesy when I sold things. I really just wanted to have things that would be genuinely helpful that people would want to buy without me having to sell them. That was the goal. So I got intentional about the platforms I was using, the positioning, and who they were actually for. The biggest piece of that was that I stopped trying to figure this out on my own. I'd never done this before. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I finally figured out after the second failure that if I wanted to do this ever again, I really needed to learn from someone who had run this successfully themselves before. And that was the best decision I ever made for this process. Now the shop pretty much runs on autopilot because of what I learned in that course. It taught me how to have digital products for sale, even though most of them are not websites at this point. So I'm the same person. It's essentially the same business under a different name and vibe. And it's still a digital shop, but it's a completely different experience now. So I actually took Kate Scott's Scale with Templates course. So I learned everything that I know now from her, even though right now I'm not primarily selling Squarespace templates. My shop is doing well because of the things that I learned in that course, regardless. It's the roadmap that I really wish I had back in 2015 and again in 2020. I would have done a lot better had I known those things back then. And it covers positioning and delivery and pricing, the tech, all of the things that you need to know in order to have a successful Squarespace template shop. It answers all of your questions. No fluff. The videos were short. I powered through it in like a weekend or a week. So if you're interested in doing this for yourself, I'll put the links below. As of recording, Scale with Templates is open for enrollment, so you can hop in if you want to. But if you just wanted to see kind of a walk down memory lane and see a couple of my failures, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to share this today, because I think that they're funny to look back on. It's nice to be able to laugh at myself. They are genuinely embarrassing, but also we don't know what we don't know. And I think it's interesting to be able to see where other people came from. So I wanted to be able to do that for you guys too. So I just want to close by saying neither of those failures meant that I was bad at the business necessarily, my business. I just didn't know what I didn't know yet, and you probably don't either. The Bowie koozie was a $4.16 lesson, basically. That one koozie cost me probably roughly the same amount of money to produce it as I got for it. So I broke even maybe on that. If that, Etsy also takes a cut of those sales. So I didn't actually even get the whole $4.16. And then the Teachable shop was a more expensive lesson at $39 a month for a year at a time where I technically did not have a full time job. And that was just money that I was investing back in my business from whatever clients I was working with at the time. Both were worth it. I don't look at either of those as literal failures because those were lessons that I learned that spurred me into action, which eventually found the education material that I needed in order to learn the strategy that I am now implementing successfully. So you can kind of see the roadmap there. The two failures, and I learned better, did better, now it's successful. So, anyway, if you're thinking about selling templates of your own specifically for Squarespace, Kate's Scale with Templates course is not an overwhelming thing to take. You can binge through it very quickly. And it taught me everything that I needed to know, even to have a shop that doesn't necessarily sell Squarespace templates right now. I have one Squarespace template for sale. The rest are other kinds, but I applied the same strategy to those too. So, moral of the story is done is better than perfect. If you have an idea, get it out there. If you fail at it, then find somebody that knows how to do it better than you, learn from them, and then try it again with the lessons you learned from the first time. And eventually, you might find something that's really working quite well for you, but it takes a little bit of a journey to get there, and that's okay. We don't have to be perfect on the first try. Anyway, if you liked this content, I'm thinking I might do a few of these I did it wrong posts now and then so that you get to see all my fuck ups, my mess ups, where I went wrong, what I learned from it, and what you could maybe take away from it too. And if you like that idea, leave a comment below and let me know. That's all I have for you in this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.